I'm Alex Dykes, and today we're taking a look at the 2013 Ram 3500 pickup truck. This is no longer a Dodge Ram because Chrysler has separated Ram into their own brand, so now Ram is the brand and 3500 is the model. This is a 2013 model year, as I said, but there are a few changes being done for the 2014 model year that I'll point out as we go around the vehicle. For a separate video on that 2014 model year heavy-duty pickup truck from Ram, be sure and click that subscribe banner at the bottom of your screen, and we're going to post that video up as soon as we can. We should have our hands on that in about 2 weeks or so be sure and watch for that video. Obviously, Ram's 3500, 2500, and 1500 pickup trucks are all very closely related with one another. I've always found the overall styling of Ram pickup trucks to be very attractive. I do have a soft spot for them, of course, because a lot of my family members own Ram pickup trucks, so that probably colors my opinion just a little bit. Chrysler rocked the world when they started designing their pickup trucks to look like mini big rigs. That's a style element that a number of other manufacturers started to imitate over the years. Over here for 2013, we don't have the same kind of drastic changes versus 2012. In fact, there's not a whole lot different up front for the 2013 model year. If it wasn't broken, Chrysler hasn't fixed it. So we have this large chrome grille up front, very large tow hooks. Over here we have all new headlamps for 2013. We're in the Laramie model, so we get these projector headlamps. But regardless of which Ram 3500 model you now get LED turn signal lamps, which is a nice upgrade. For 2013, there are two different engine options. Things start out with the 5.7-liter Hemi V8. It produces 383 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. For $7,795, you can upgrade to this 6.7-liter, 6-cylinder inline turbo diesel engine, and it produces 3 different horsepower and torque levels depending on which transmission you get. For that base price, you get 350 horsepower and 660 pound-feet of torque routed through a 6-speed manual transmission. For $500 extra, you can jump up to the 370 horsepower version, produces 800 pound-feet of torque, and that's mated to Chrysler's own 68 RFE transmission. For $2,600 more, you can upgrade to the 385 horsepower, 850 pound-foot of torque version of this same engine, and all that power is routed through an ASIN 6-speed automatic transmission. If you opt for the 3500 chassis cab, you can also get a power takeoff with that same ASIN automatic transmission. Chrysler and Cummins have tweaked the exhaust brake standard on the 6.7-liter Cummins turbo diesel engine for 2013. They've improved both its range as well as its braking ability. Now, this exhaust brake works differently than Jake brakes on commercial vehicles because this one uses the turbocharger for the exhaust braking. The 6.7-liter Cummins uses a variable geometry turbocharger, and it can close those vanes almost completely. So for the exhaust brake action, it closes the vanes as completely as possible, creating back pressure in the engine that helps that exhaust brake work. Some additional things that you'll notice for 2013 is that we have an awful lot of cooling focus going on with this engine. We have twin radiators, twin transmission coolers, and an active air intake right over here. This active air intake will decide automatically where it should take its intake air for the engine from, either under the hood right here where it's nice and warm, so if you're in colder positions or if you're getting snow packed on the front of your vehicle, it'll start sucking air in from the warmer engine compartment, or right up here by the front grille for cooler air if you're climbing hills in hot terrain. Pickup trucks, especially heavy-duty pickup trucks like this, are all about payload and towing capacity, and the Ram 3500 has enormous numbers for both. Over 6,500 pounds of payload capacity when properly equipped in the Ram 3500. That would be the double rear wheel version. The single rear wheel version, like we have here, is about a 2,000 pound reduction in payload capacity, which is still very large. Towing capacity, 30,000 pounds maximum in this vehicle. And that's when you get the short cab, the Cummins turbo diesel engine, and that ASIN automatic with rear wheel drive. One thing to keep in mind about those large towing capacities is that when you're carrying that much weight, even though you're driving a regular vehicle like this, many states do require that you have a commercial vehicle license. This is a perfect segue into price. How much will the 3500 cost you? Well, starting out with the tradesman version and that 5.7-liter V8 gasoline version, $30,105 is your starting price. If you want the 30,000 pound towing capable vehicle, that will start at $39,970. Again, that's a tradesman model, but it has everything that you need to tow that maximum amount. Most of the Ram 3500s that you'll see on the dealer lots will be the SLT version, and that starts at $33,815. Again, if you want to jump up into that turbo diesel engine, it's going to cost you at least $8,000 for the automatic and that turbo diesel engine. Our model here is $67,000 because it's the Longhorn Laramie edition, but things do top out just a little bit higher. $69,120 is just about the most expensive 3500 you can buy. As you'd expect with a pickup truck, front seat comfort is very good. The seating position is very upright. We have a multi-way power driver's seat in our Laramie model with a 2-way adjustable lumbar support and a 2-position memory. We have a manual tilting but not telescoping steering wheel, but we do get power adjustable pedals that are memory linked as well. The passenger seat in our Laramie model, which is the top line model, doesn't have the same range of motion as the driver's seat, so it is something to keep in mind if you're buying this as a family vehicle and you do expect some of your family members to be comfortable in the car as well. Let's take a look around the inside now, and as I said, we were in the Laramie Longhorn Edition, so we have an awful lot of interesting features going on here, including a lot of Laramie Longhorn badges. We have one on each seat, as you can see there. We have this boot pattern imitation stitching going on the seats. That's all 5 seats in this car. Contrasting piping. We have real leather trim on the side doors. So you can see that is real leather and real wood in the Laramie Longhorn Edition. The stitched dash and door panels really dress up the cabin of the Ram 3500 a great deal. There are still a large portion of panels that are hard plastic, like this right here, the lower dash portion, and the tan strip that you can see running across the upper portion of the dash there is a hard touch plastic. This portion of the dash right here is not leather. This is just injection molded and it's stitched to make it look like it's a stitched leather part. But as I said, those door panels are stitched leather. We have a dual glove box arrangement. You can see we have a small glove box there and a fairly small glove box right there. You can see the 2 glove boxes together approximate a larger glove box, but individually they are fairly small. Moving on to the center console, see we have another Ram logo, another piece of real wood trim. Our particular model has the 8-inch Uconnect system, which we'll go over later. Standard is a 5-inch Uconnect system now in the Ram 3500. Moving down, we have our climate control, integrated trailer brake controller, heated and cooled seats in the Laramie Longhorn Edition, as well as a heated steering wheel. This is the exhaust brake control button, parking sensors off, tow haul mode, traction control disable. Over here we have a 150 watt, 115 volt electrical outlet. Very small storage cubby right there. Moving down, we have a variety of storage cubbies going on here that are not closable, don't have lids. We have large cup holder going on right there, easily capable of accommodating a large takeout size drink. And then we have an incredibly large lid for this center storage bin. Comes in 2 tiers. This first tier has a removable money holder. This is where you'll find your auxiliary inputs for the Uconnect system. We have a single USB slot, single secure digital auxiliary input, and another USB. This is charge only right here. If we close that lid and open the other portion of it, see we have a larger and deeper container. This is also where you'll find the single slot CD player. CD players are not standard in the Uconnect systems from Chrysler for 2013 and 2014 on the whole, and you can add them as a $190 option. Over here we have our part-time all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive system control knob. We move over to the dashboard. You'll find the unique Longhorn instrument cluster. I personally think this is a little bit over the top. I mean, you can tell they've bedazzled the instrument cluster with these fake rhinestones and boot-like stitching there on the tachometer. This is a 4-gauge arrangement. Over here we have the diesel exhaust fluid, engine temperature, tachometer, oil pressure, have our speedometer that's also bedazzled. Then over here we have the diesel fuel level. Large number of the Ram 3500 and 2500 trucks now come with this large 7-inch LCD right in the middle of the gauge cluster. And it is very configurable. There are a lot of options going on here. We'll take a look at just some of them here. Here we have the exhaust turbo display, vehicle info, engine hours, transmission temperature, oil life, fuel filter life, battery voltage, etc. We can use those buttons on the steering wheel to scroll down. You'll see the section display right there. We have our fuel economy, trip computers, A and B, trailering info. Tell us which trailer is connected. You can memorize a few different trailers via the Uconnect system, and you can also control the gain via that screen. You can move down and see our audio, system messages, screen setup. You can change different screen options, and then we have our speedometer over here. The display is configurable. Right now we have a compass over here, our fuel range, exterior temperature, and then the trailer gain right there. You can change what's in each of those quadrants and to some degree in that customization screen, and have the car do what you want it to do. Panning back out, you can see we have the large corporate steering wheel that's spreading its way across the Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge and Ram lineup. Nice thick rimmed steering wheel. Our particular model is heated. This is a real wood partial wood wheel right there. Even the wood trim is heated, including the leather. As is usual with most Chryslers, you'll find the audio command buttons on the back of the steering wheel, volume up and down on this side, track up and down on that side, cruise control buttons over here, voice command, phone button, and then these 4 buttons control that little display in the center. Moving over to the left side, you'll find the headlamp control, the power window, door locks, and power mirror switches. So the same controls that are used in a wide variety of Chrysler products as well as Mercedes products. And if we move over here to the steering column, you can see the button for moving the pedals in and out. Let's take a look at the infotainment options now. If you don't care about infotainment, or if you just want to skip ahead to the drive section, then follow those instructions at the bottom of your screen to go ahead and skip on over there. Now, all Ram models come standard with the new 5-inch Uconnect system. It is a much smaller screen, obviously, than this. It's a touchscreen system that runs on the Microsoft Windows embedded operating system. It's quite different from this 8-inch Uconnect system, although Chrysler has harmonized the graphics, so it operates very similarly. The big thing you need to know about that 5-inch Uconnect system is that it now offers all the same voice commands as this system. Of course, it doesn't have navigation as standard. We're told that there will be an option to add navigation software to that base 5-inch system, but by default, it operates very much like you'd find in Ford's Sync products. That was, Ford's products before My Ford Touch. So you can voice command your iOS device or your Android device or your USB memory stick, etc. You have certain other voice commands in that system as well. What we have here is the 8-inch Uconnect system. Now this is Uconnect 2, and it's easily distinguished by this apps button over here on the lower right. Now, since we're in the Ram model, we have some additional physical buttons that help you control this system. So over here we have a screen off button, we have our usual climate control buttons here, and then what you can't see in this picture, but below this, we have our physical buttons for the steering wheel, heated seats, and cooled seats. That's a little bit different than other Chrysler products because most Chrysler products make you actuate those heated options right here via either the climate control or via the control setting in the system. Over here we have the radio tab, AM, FM, Sirius XM. We have our preset buttons across the top. They work fairly well. Everything in the Uconnect system is very snappy. Over here we have a browse button, we have a replay button so you can replay live Sirius XM or AM and FM radio. One thing I really like about the Uconnect system is this direct tune option. There are a lot of systems that make it very difficult to tune your Sirius XM stations, especially since there are quite a lot of them on the market there. So being able to type the station rather in right there is a very handy feature. Over here we have direct access to traffic and weather by Sirius XM. The audio button on all these screens takes you to your balance, fader, equalizer, speed adjusted volume, and surround sound settings. The Ram 3500 does have surround sound as a top level option. Over here on the media tab, we'll have a fully featured iPod USB secure digital interface, full access to your iPod's playlists, artists, genres, etc. The interface is very snappy. It caches all the data off your USB or your iDevice and then displays it on this screen. Up here at top, we have our track information. So this is track 74 or 76 in this playlist. And one nice feature is you can drag the sliders around in this system, so it does offer full drag functionality. That also works in the browse list where you can drag these little sliders down the list for easier and quicker access to your tunes. Again, they have that audio button over there. The controls button, you have duplicate buttons for the heated seat, ventilated seat, and heated steering wheel, as well as direct access to certain settings. Climate control button, duplicate buttons again of those physical buttons that are lower in the dashboard. Over on the nav screen, we have integrated Garmin nav software in the system. That's why the screen looks a little bit different than you're used to in many other vehicles. That is one area where Uconnect does drop below the normal standard is in its navigation software. If you take a look at the navigation maps, they're just not quite as exciting as certain other entries in this segment. It is very fully featured, very well integrated, but the voice commands are quite different. So if you're over here on the nav screen, you can see what you need to tell the car. So most cars, when you hit the voice command button, you'd say navigation, destination, street address, something like that. You'd start out with the large item, narrow it down. So you'd start out with navigation, you'd tell it what you wanted it to do, and then where you want it to go. Here you'd say navigation and then where to, or view map, or information, or emergency. So you actually say exactly what you see on the screen. Once you get that down, everything else in the system is very easy to deal with. Entering addresses in Uconnect is very easy via the voice command. It does have a good command library, and it is fairly fully featured in terms of voice commands. We also have XM traffic information displayed on the screen, as you can see there. And the display does work very well, and it is fairly quick, although the mapping software is notably just a little bit slower than the other interfaces in the system. Over on the phone tab, we have our Bluetooth phone interface. We do have messaging assistant if your phone supports it. Currently, all the iOS iPhones do not support that particular feature, so you do need an Android phone for that. We again have presets across the top, so you can have presets for different phone numbers or different people that you want to call. You also have a direct access dial keypad, which is very handy there. Uconnect 2 adds this apps tab instead of the settings tab that you would find on previous generations. It also adds this little cellular display down here in the lower corner. And you can see that currently we're in a 3G coverage area. And that's because Uconnect 2 now integrates its own cellular modem and cellular phone device. So Uconnect now offers OnStar-like features, 911 Assist, Uconnect Assistant, things like that, where you can call and connect to a Uconnect service for assistance, or you can have the car dial 911. That's quite different than some of the other entries in this segment, most notably Ford's My Ford Touch, because with My Ford Touch or Kia's Uconnect, or Kia's Uvo system, you have to have a smartphone paired with the system in order for it to dial out. So the only time your car would dial out for accident notification, if you were in an accident and your airbags went off and you weren't able to respond, the only time that those systems could dial out is if you also had a smartphone in your car and your smartphone was working and paired with the system. With Uconnect as well as OnStar, you don't need to have a separate phone. You just have to have the service paid for and active in the car. In the settings page, we have our usual settings. We also have Sirius XM Travel Link. This allows you to find fuel prices, weather maps, movie listings, etc. We also have a convergence of smartphone data apps available in this system. You can purchase those via the Uconnect store, which is an interesting feature, and you can download those apps right onto this device. Since we don't have a Uconnect app or account registered with this vehicle, we can't show you that portion, but it is fairly easy to use. Chrysler has given us the Travel Link and the Yelp app. The Yelp app allows you to search for businesses via voice commands as you're driving, which is kind of handy. So you can actually hit the voice command button, you can say Yelp, and then you can tell it to find me pizza restaurants in the local area. It is an interesting feature. It allows you to see those reviews right on the screen. Over here on Tools, we have access to our Wi-Fi hotspot, which is an integrated feature in this system. It allows you to share the cellular modem with Wi-Fi devices in your car. You can have that assist setting. That's what they call Uconnect Assistant. It's sort of like OnStar service. Again, the Uconnect store. You can hit the running apps page and you can see which of these apps is currently loaded. The drive section of a heavy-duty truck review is probably the least important section of the review, if I'm honest, because not that many people buy a 3500 series pickup truck because of the way that they drive. They buy them because of what they can tow, what they can haul, how they look, etc. And logically, all those other features, the payload capacity, the towing capacity, etc., have an impact on the ride quality of these 3500 series pickup trucks. And that's definitely true in the Ram 3500, because with the ability to tow up to 30,000 pounds in towing capacity and a payload capacity that's astronomical when you compare it to 3500 series pickup trucks of just 5-10 years ago, the ride is pretty stiff in the 3500 when it's empty in the back. Of course, if you put a pallet of concrete in the back, then all of a sudden the ride softens up and it feels more like a 1500 series pickup truck. But empty as we are right now, the ride isn't terribly great. It's pretty harsh. Other manufacturers are starting to imitate the exhaust brake that Chrysler brought out in the Ram series heavy-duty pickup trucks first. But for this year, Chrysler has made a few tweaks to that exhaust brake, increasing its effectiveness in downhill braking. It really does make a huge difference compared to a pickup truck without a diesel exhaust brake. If you're used to towing a trailer and downshifting, you can think of it something like that, downshifting only to the next level. So you can downshift, of course, in this automatic transmission with the diesel engine, and the diesel engine gives you an awful lot more engine braking than you'd get in the 5.7 liter V8 that's standard on the 3500 series trucks. But when you add that next level of engine braking, you get an awful lot more slowing down, basically, if you're towing heavy loads or have heavy loads in the back of the truck. It is a very handy feature to help keep your brakes cool and help them last longer as well. In terms of raw performance, we ran from 0 to 60 in 8.72 seconds, which is a very respectable number for a pickup truck like this. Big thing to keep in mind is because there are 850 pound-feet of torque available if you get this automatic transmission version, that number doesn't change too much if you add a little bit of weight to the truck. So if you add 1,000 pounds or maybe even 2,000 pounds to the bed, you are going to slow down, but you're not going to slow down as much as you would in the 5.7 or 6.4 liter gasoline engines in the Ram 3500. That's an important thing to keep in mind. That's the big reason that people are willing to pay the extra amount for the Cummins turbo diesel. One nice feature in this Ram truck is that we have an integrated trailer brake controller. I find that really great because I don't like the look of trailer brake controllers hanging onto the dashboard, etc., but it also provides a functional benefit. If you're using a more modern trailer brake controller with a G-force sensor in them for your braking, then their alignment on the dashboard or suction cups or however else that you've mounted it to the car really is quite important, and you don't have to worry about that in a car with an integrated trailer brake controller. Ram's already done that all for you. Fuel economy is an important consideration in every vehicle out there, but it is a little bit difficult to nail down in something like a 3500 series truck. Because of the gross vehicle weight of the Ram 3500, Chrysler is not obligated to publish official EPA numbers. We've been averaging about 16 to 17 miles per gallon in the Ram 3500 in mixed driving, mostly empty. Of course, when you tow, it's going to go an awful lot lower than that, but that's about what it's like when you're just driving around town doing your normal commute in an empty pickup truck. That's fairly average for this segment. We noticed very similar numbers in the Chevy 3500 series pickup truck as well as the Ford the last time we've had them. Cabin noise is better controlled in this 2013 model than in previous generations of the Ram heavy-duty trucks. That's thanks to a decent amount more sound insulation as well as a quieter Cummins turbo diesel engine. This engine is notably quieter than previous generations of the engine. Of course, if you have a Ram 3500 from around 1999, 2000, around there, then you're going to notice a significant improvement in quietness as well as smoothness in this engine versus that old Cummins turbo diesel. The steering feel surprised me in this vehicle. It's actually quite accurate. If you'd think that a large truck like this would be dull and numb and overly boosted, then you'd actually be somewhat surprised when you get behind the wheel. Yes, the steering is numb, but it's definitely not over boosted. There's a decent weight to the steering. The steering is also very accurate. In fact, overall, the Ram 3500 handles a lot better than I thought it would compared to some of the other pickup truck entries out there. Now, we do have the 275 with tires in this Longhorn edition, so that does have an awful lot to do with it. So be sure you're checking out apples to apples when you do compare Chevy and Ram and Ford back to back. It is one of the most important things to keep in mind when you're looking at these trucks is the tire size, and that's not just the width but also the profile when you're comparing these trucks back to back. There's a lot of tough competition going on in the heavy-duty pickup truck segment. All three players have great entries in this segment, but there's also a fierce brand loyalty going on here, not just in the pickup truck segment in general, but specifically in this heavy-duty segment here where it's even harder to sway opinions and sway minds. And therefore, I'm just going to say that for me, the Ram 3500 is the best pickup truck in this segment. It's a very, very close ranking in my mind, however. I do like that Ford F350, and I do like the new GMC 3500 as well. But for me, the mixture of style, amenities, payload capacity, towing capacity, and a really great interior in the Ram 3500 give it top marks for me. Again, I'm Alex Dykes, and this has been our quick look at the 2013 Ram 3500 pickup truck. Be sure and click that subscribe banner at the bottom of your screen so you can be updated on all of our latest videos, including the upcoming video on the 2014 Ram 3500, which we'll post very soon.